Good morning. You're watching the morning news here at CNN News 18. My name is Toya Singh. Right here on the show today, we're preparing for the big day that lies ahead for the country. Presidential elections set to take place today. Today, the stage is all set for the big battle for Rashtrapati Bhavan. It's the NDA's Draupadi Murmu, that's the NDA's candidate, versus the opposition's Yashwant Sinha, the senior leader. Now, the Electoral College, comprising of MPs and state MLAs, will cast their votes between 10 and 5 p.m. in the Parliament House today and the state legislative assemblies. This is all to elect the 15th president of the country. Now, interesting twists have emerged in this election after the BJP announced a tribal woman and a leader as their candidate. Several parties that would have typically stood against the NDA have in the last few weeks turned around and actually offered their support. The counting of the votes will take place on July 21st. The country's next president will be sworn in on the 25th of July. Current President Ram Nath Kovind's 5-year tenure, you can see him right now on your screens. He and his tenure will end on the 24th of this month. All right. First, we just spoke of Droupadi Murmu, the NDA candidate. She's a 64-year-old leader from Odisha who began her career as a teacher. She's going to be the first tribal and the second woman to become the president of India if she wins. Currently, the numbers are very much in her favor. Take a deeper look at her entire journey and all of the challenges she's faced with this next story.
From the day the NDA picked her as the presidential nominee, Draupadi Murmu was the president in waiting.
श्रीमती द्रौपदी मुर्मू इनको राष्ट्रपति का प्रत्याशी घोषित किया गया है एनडीए की तरफ से.
An announcement that did not come as much of a surprise as in 2017 too, her name had figured in the NDA's shortlist for India's top constitutional office. Ram Nath Kovind had then emerged as the dark horse. With the numbers stacked overwhelmingly in the favor of the NDA, her election is high on symbolism and less about the numbers game. An election which is witnessing the changing political axis. A selection that has placed the opposition camp in a quandary. Uddhav Thackeray, forced by the Shiv Sena MPs, broke ranks from allies in Mahavikas Aghadi to back her. TDP's Chandrababu Naidu came out to even campaign for her in Andhra Pradesh. Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, India's only tribal party, had to support as well. After all, she had served as the governor of Jharkhand.
मेरे जो फैमिली बहुत गरीबी है, गरीबी थोड़ा मैं फाइनेंशियली उनको सपोर्ट करूं, इसीलिए थोड़ा पढ़ लिख के ऐसा बन जाऊं कि मुझे थोड़ा नौकरी मिल जाए. लेकिन मुझे पॉलिटिक्स में जाना, ये गवर्नर बनना, ये मैं कभी सोची नहीं थी.
64-year-old Droupadi Murmu, low profile and soft-spoken, has generally steered clear of controversy. She was also the only governor to complete a full term in office in Jharkhand, which has had 10 governments in its 2 decades of existence.
जो सेंट्रल ने हम मेरा बहन का नाम लिया ना, हम लोग बहुत खुश में, रायरमपुर के बासिंदा सब खुश में है. आदिवासी महिला की पहले जो चुना गया ना, वही सबसे खुशी बात है।
पूरा रायरंगपुर के साथ ही उनका बहुत अच्छा संपर्क रहा है। सबका उन्होंने हमेशा साथ और सहयोग दिया और बहुत ही प्यार भरा संपर्क रहा है उनका सबों के साथ में। हमारे किसी भी प्रोग्राम में वो हमेशा आगे रहते थे और सबकी बातें सुनते थे।
तो काउंसिलर से होके विधायक भी बन गए, विधायक बन के वो बेस्ट अवार्ड भी उनको मिला है, नीलकंठ पुरस्कार मिला है उनको। उसके बाद वो मंत्री भी बने, सबका साथ मिल के काम करते हैं।
Born into a Santhali farmer's home in Uper Beda village of Mayurbhanj district, Murmu persisted with her studies even though she had to leave her village after class 7 in order to do so. With the help of relatives, she completed her schooling in Bhubaneswar and then joined Ramadevi Women's College. After her studies, Murmu got a job with the Odisha's Irrigation and Power Department. She, however, quit the job after she got married to Shyam Charan Murmu, a bank employee, and moved to Rairangpur, a town about 20 kilometers from her native village. She started teaching at the Sri Aurobindo Integral Education and Research Center in Rairangpur. It was here that her work with a Santhal organization, where she had enrolled in the 1990s, caught the attention of the BJP's Raj Kishore Das. Back then, it was a party that did not have much political influence in the state. Seeing potential in Murmu, he asked her to contest for councillor in the Rairangpur Notified Area Council. In 1997, she became councillor and later vice chairperson of the Rairangpur Corporation.
2000 में 90 से 5 साल का ये तो आप जानते हैं टर्म होता है, लेकिन बीच में मुझे जब जनरल इलेक्शन आ गया, मुझे 2000 में टिकट दिया गया। उन्होंने कहा आपको तो लड़ना है, मैंने बोला मेरे बच्चे छोटे छोटे हैं, मुझे ये तो काउंसिलर में थी, वाइस चेयरमैन थी, तो टाउन के अंदर मुझे घूमना पड़ता था। फिर अभी तो मुझे पूरा क्षेत्र में घूमना पड़ेगा, तो टाइम नहीं दे पाऊंगी। फिर मुझे थोड़ा, मैंने बोला ठीक है चलिए। बच्चे भी बोले ठीक है माँ, तुम लड़ना चाहती हो तो लड़ो।
She served twice as a BJP MLA in Odisha and also worked as a minister in the Naveen Patnaik government from the 2002 to 2004, when the BJP and Biju Janata Dal ran a coalition government. She was awarded the Neelkant Award for the Best Legislator by the Odisha Legislative Assembly. Droupadi Murmu's candidature signifies the BJP's efforts to bring the tribal and other marginalized communities to the mainstream. A convincing example of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. It's an outreach to the strong 10.42 crore scheduled tribes population of India, who are largely in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Jharkhand and Maharashtra and other states in Northeast. The BJP hopes the message of the first tribal woman president of India will help them expand their footprints in tribal belts across the country and earn immediate electoral dividend in the upcoming polls. The move comes ahead of assembly elections in Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. The four states have 128 seats reserved for scheduled tribes, of which the BJP had won just 35 in the last assembly elections. The BJP is also hoping that her candidature will strengthen its political hold in Odisha and get a foothold in Jharkhand, where it lost the elections in 2019.
आज भी हम कहते हैं कि आदिवासियों में ओडिशा में संथाल प्रोग्रेसिव है, लेकिन इतना भी प्रोग्रेसिव नहीं है कि वो दूसरों के साथ कॉम्पीट कर पाए। इसीलिए और भी थोड़ा अभी भी फाउंडेशन स्टेज में है। आगे जाने के लिए महिला को और पुरुष को दोनों को आगे आना होगा। जैसे परिवार चलाने के लिए दोनों की आवश्यकता है।
If 2017 was about a Dalit president, 2022 is about the first tribal president and a second woman president of India. The choice of a woman is again a message by the Modi government that women remain the centerpiece of its policy. 21st July will see history unfold, and most politicians won't want to be on the wrong side of it. In New Delhi, this is Maria Shakil.
All right, if you take a look at the numbers right now, Droupadi Murmu is set to win. But let's take a look also right now at the opposition's nominee. From being a trenchant critic of the Congress and the left as a BJP leader for over 2 decades, now to a joint opposition candidate in the presidential election, Yashwant Sinha's life has been nothing less than a roller coaster ride. On Sunday, he made a special appeal to BJP leaders to vote for him, saying that he too once belonged to their party till just a few years ago. Take a look at this report on the life and career of the senior leader Yashwant Sinha.
All the members of the meeting, they unanimously suggested Sharad Pawar's name. Unanimously. If Sharad Pawar is agreed, is okay, but he said he is not interested.
After Sharad Pawar, Gopal Krishna Gandhi and Farooq Abdullah declined to be the opposition's presidential candidate, former BJP leader Yashwant Sinha was chosen as the joint opposition candidate.
We are happy to announce that we have unanimously, I stress the word unanimously, chosen Sri Yashwant Sinha as the common candidate of the opposition parties for the presidential election.
This year's election to the post of President of India is actually a fight or a contest not between two individuals. It is a contest between two ideologies.
Born in Patna in 1937, Yashwant Sinha was the 9th of 11 siblings. At the age of 23, he joined the civil services and was allotted the Bihar cadre. In 1974, when Jayaprakash Narayan gave a call for total revolution, Sinha wanted to quit the services. The high point of his bureaucratic career was his term as Principal Secretary to Bihar Chief Minister and socialist icon Karpuri Thakur in 1977. Mr. Sinha suspended his long career in the Indian Administrative Services in 1984 and joined the JP movement, launching his foray into active politics. He first came to Parliament as a Rajya Sabha member in 1988 and became Finance Minister in the Chandrasekhar government in 1990. Though he was a close follower of Chandrasekhar, he switched sides to join the BJP in 1993. Where he was seen as an aide of L.K. Advani. However, he fell out with the BJP veteran in his later years in the party. In 1998, he entered Lok Sabha from Hazaribagh constituency of Jharkhand. He won his second term to the Lok Sabha in 1999 and handled the crucial portfolios of finance and external affairs in the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government. In 2004, he lost the Lok Sabha polls, but the BJP nominated him to the Rajya Sabha. In 2009, he won for the third time from Hazaribagh.
श्री नरेंद्र मोदी को आगामी लोकसभा चुनाव के लिए प्राइम मिनिस्ट्रियल कैंडिडेट के रूप में प्रोजेक्ट किया जाए.
In 2013, when the BJP declared Narendra Modi as the chairman of the party's poll campaign committee in its national executive in Goa, Sinha was among the few BJP veterans to welcome the decision. In 2014, Sinha's son, Jayant, fought from his old constituency of Hazaribagh and won. He went on to become the MOS in the first Modi government. After being one of the tallest figures in the BJP for nearly 2.5 decades, Mr. Sinha quit the Saffron Party in 2018, alleging that the National Democratic Alliance government at the centre was undermining democratic institutions and he took sannyas from party politics.
मैंने मना कर दिया था कि मैं 2014 का लोकसभा का चुनाव नहीं लड़ूंगा तो मेरे मन में यही बात थी कि अब मैं चुनावी राजनीति में भाग नहीं लूंगा।
Yashwant Sinha started an anti-BJP forum, Rashtramanch, but it failed from the word go. In 2021, Sinha joined the TMC and became its vice president. For 84-year-old Yashwant Sinha, his political career has come full circle. From being a staunch critic of the Congress and the left as a BJP leader for over 2 decades to a joint opposition candidate supported by both. Yashwant Sinha knows he's fighting a losing battle. In New Delhi, this is Maria Shakil.
मैं समझता हूँ राष्ट्रपति और उपराष्ट्रपति पद के लिए दोनों ही ऐसे प्रत्याशी चुने गए हैं जो जमीन से जुड़े हुए हैं। हमारे राष्ट्रपति पद की उम्मीदवार तो एक मिसाल होंगी, देश की 50% आबादी की प्रतिनिधित्व करती होंगी। और जो हमारे सपना देखा था पंडित दीनदयाल उपाध्याय जी ने कि पायदान की अंतिम सीढ़ी पर खड़े हुए व्यक्ति तक भी आज़ादी की रोशनी की किरण पहुंचे, आज उस सपने को साकार हमारे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने और हमारी पार्टी ने कर दिया है। राष्ट्रपति पद की जो प्रत्याशी हमारी लाई गई है वो सबसे बेहतरीन है।
सभी लोग जो विधानमंडल में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का कार्यालय वहाँ 9:30 बजे हम लोग सब लोग एकत्रित होंगे और सभी लोग अपने अपने मंत्री के समूह के साथ अलग अलग समय पे हम लोग जाके अपना वोट डालेंगे और मुझे लगता है जो जीत है वो सामने द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी की होने वाली है।
हम लोग पॉलिसी के हिसाब से हमारे पहले दिन से हम लोग बीजेपी के विरोध में हैं, इसलिए जहां भी बीजेपी भी है, एनडीए में है, हम उसके अलावा उसके ऑपोजिट पार्टी कैंडिडेट जो है वो हमारे क्या नाम है यशवंत सिन्हा साहब, उनको हम लोग वोट देंगे। इस देश में ये नहीं चलेगा, जल्दी से जल्दी इस राज को खत्म करना पड़ेगा। ऑपोजिशन और रूलिंग पार्टी का सब मामला एक साथ में मिलजुल के हमेशा होना पड़ेगा, तभी मुल्क आगे बढ़ेगा। हम लोग क्या बोलेंगे, हर चीज को जो मोदी के खिलाफ जाता है सबको उन्होंने पार्लियामेंट में बैंड कर दिया। जो भी चीज मोदी को बोलते थे ऑपोजिशन वाले वो सबके सब बंद कर दिया कि आप बोल ही नहीं सकते। हम लोग के मुंह में ताला लगा दिया। ऐसा थोड़ा ही चलता है, तानाशाही है।
आज़ादी के 75 साल पूरे हो जाने, अब तक सभी पार्टियों ने बात की कि हम पछात लोगों के लिए, हम पिछड़े लोगों के लिए हैं, हम गरीब लोगों के लिए हैं, उनको हम अच्छे पद के लिए नॉमिनेट करेंगे। अभी किसी ने किया नहीं। और जो पिछड़े इलाके से या पिछड़े नाते से आते हैं उनका भी डेमोक्रेसी में अधिकार है, उनको भी उच्च पद मिलना चाहिए। और हमारे नेतागिरी ने द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी को पसंद किया। 111 पूरा का पूरा मतदान भी हमारा हो रहा है।
हम सब लोग चुनाव में वहां जाकर मतदान करें, ऐसी एक पार्टी की भी व्यवस्था है और सभी हमारे आदरणीय मुख्यमंत्री भूपेंद्र भाई पटेल जी की भी योजना है।
All right, that's going to be the big fight on the table today. But there's also another battle. The Vice President's office is going to be an interesting battle. It's the opposition's pick, Margaret Alva, the senior leader. She'll be facing the NDA's candidate, Jagdeep Dhankar, on August 6th. Now, both the candidates have served as governor, union minister, and share a Rajasthan connection. Remember, particularly important because we're going to be seeing elections in Rajasthan next year. Now, while Dhankar is a native of Rajasthan, Alva has in the past been its governor. Meanwhile, with numbers being, as you might already know, on the BJP side, it is going to be a tough uphill battle for the senior leader, Margaret Alva, for the vice president elections, as we said, scheduled to take place in quite a few days from now on August 6th. Very quickly, we want to walk you through BJP reactions to this entire story. Take a look.
उपराष्ट्रपति के चुनाव के लिए हम सब के तरफ हमने एक कैंडिडेट अनाउंस करने का तय किया। कैंडिडेट आप जानते हैं श्रीमती मार्गरेट अल्वा। She was a minister in government of India. She was a Rajya Sabha member for many years. She was a governor also, and she was a person who got a vast experience in administration and in parliamentary affairs.
एक ऐसा व्यक्ति जो साधारण परिवार से निकल करके सामाजिक आर्थिक कठिनाइयों को झेलते हुए और जिसे हम कहें कि एक हम्बल बैकग्राउंड से आकर एक किसान पुत्र ने एक फर्स्ट जनरेशन प्रोफेशनल के रूप में अपने आप को आगे बढ़ाया और एक सक्षम प्रशासक के रूप में भी और सक्षम राजनेता के रूप में भी 3 दशक तक जीवन में उन्होंने सामाजिक सेवा, देश सेवा की और उच्च कोटि की देश सेवा की। ऐसे प्रत्याशी को हम सब लोग किसान पुत्र को लेकर के आए हैं।
All right, those are the top 2 stories we're going to be tracking here on the show. But the other particularly important development for the nation that's going to be taking place today, because today is a big day for the country, the monsoon session of the Parliament gets into session starting today. Now, the centre is all set to introduce 24 bills, including the Cantonment Bill and the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Bill. We're going to be talking about each of these bills and take a deeper look at this entire story on the other side of this very short break. We'll see you in just a second.